on the stage of international show jumping.
Good evening and welcome to Saturday evening of the 2020 North American Tournament from Spruce Meadows at home. My name is Ian Allison, coming to you ringside from the International Ring at Spruce Meadows. For those of you that have not been with us throughout the day, I invite you to check us out on YouTube. Tonight our focus is going to be on a great Canadian rider by the name of Tiffany Foster. Tiffany Foster first scored victory here at Spruce Meadows in 2011. And over the course of the next few years really has become a mainstay, not only here at Spruce Meadows, but of Team Canada, having carried the colors in many international events, including the Olympic Games. For all of us here at Spruce Meadows, it's been great to watch Tiffany, who works so hard and now is reaping the rewards of that hard work with wins, not only here at Spruce Meadows, but throughout the International Show Jumping Tour. One of her most memorable wins here came in 2017, in the Imperial Winning Round.
So we'll lead things off with Tiffany Foster.
It was a great day. It's always fun here, and it was especially fun that day with the crowds and everything. And yeah, I just love Victor. He's so good. I knew I had gone pretty fast, but it was such a long, kind of winding course that it was a lot about ground speed too. And when I watched the video now, I actually was going pretty fast in the areas that I could. So when Eric and I were talking about it, because I went kind of relatively early in the order, and he just said you have to go really, really fast from 1 to 2. And it was a really long run, so I remember getting a pretty good gallop already going to 1, and then the way he jumped 1, I knew I could go pretty fast to 2, so I went pretty fast. And I had walked the course, and there was 2 places where I knew I could leave strides out in some of the lines. So I had the right jump in, and luckily the right distance showed up and made that possible. And like I said, I hadn't seen Michael's round, so I did 1 less in both of those lines, and that probably was what made it happen, so that's good.
Did I win? Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! I'm gonna cry.
So I grew up in Vancouver in BC, and I was trained by Brent and Laura Beliski, and Laura had a rather illustrious career here as a younger, professional when she was riding a lot. And so I used to get to come here every once in a while to watch, and I mean, it was just like nothing I had ever seen before. So for me, it was always a dream. It was like a dream to be able to come to watch. And then to be able to compete here, even in the smaller divisions, was extremely exciting for me when I was younger, when I first started working for Eric. And then to be able to go under the clock tower, whatever it is now, like to go into the ring. I mean, everything was just all so kind of surreal for me. And then to win was just over the top, yeah. So I don't know, Spruce Meadows, I think for me as a rider is definitely my most favorite place to ride, definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the last 36 seasons, we've had a lot of excited champions at Spruce Meadows, but none more so than Tiffany Foster, the newly crowned champion of the TD Cup, taking on the best in the world. How are you feeling right now, young lady?
I'm really, really excited. I'm really excited.
Tell us about what it's like coming into this stadium and doing what you just did.
I can't really even describe it for me. Spruce Meadows has always been just a dream venue and everything, and for me to be out here with these people on horses like this, I can't even describe it.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job. Now, you're a big fan of your friend Victor, so maybe we'll bring you back to earth for a moment. Tell us what it's like riding a horse like that.
Victor is unbelievable. He always tries so hard, and I never go fast, ever. And so I've been trying a little lately, and he just goes even better the faster I go. So I think that's a good sign. I'm excited.
Well, it's a great sign. The plan came together, and it did so in front of a great fan base here.
Just one other thing. I want to thank so much to the Zieglers and Eric for helping me to be able to do this, because if it wasn't for them, I would never be able to.
the TD Cup, the beautiful Crystal Chalice, to Canada's Tiffany Foster, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the 1976 Spruce Meadows Masters, and this afternoon we'll be featuring highlights of the
Ian Miller and Big Ben, our 1991 Limited.
Are you ready?
I hope so, Ian. This is going to be really exciting.
Each year, Spruce Meadows hosts 4 5-star FEI tournaments during its annual summer series. The world's best converge in the foothills of the Canadian Rockies to take on each other and the legend of the Spruce Meadows International Ring. After 4 weeks of fierce competition, the stage is set today for only 30 that have qualified for the Imperial Winning Round. Hello and welcome to Spruce Meadows. I'm Ian Allison above the International Ring at Spruce Meadows as we await the top 30 horse rider combinations that have advanced and earned the right to compete in today's Imperial Winning Round. And what a field we have that will take on a 530-meter first round course. The top 10 from that first round will advance with clear scorecards to the winning round. World number 2 and reigning World Cup champion from the United States, McLean Ward, certainly a favorite today with his brilliant partner, Double H Carlos, a horse he calls his ATM machine. So talented, so careful, so quick, always tough to beat when against the clock. Of course, there are other great veterans to keep an eye on today, such as Beezy Madden, Canada's own Tiffany Foster, and of course, Eric Lamaze, who's won more than any other rider in history in the International Ring here at Spruce Meadows. Also of note, though, young stars rising. 2 in particular from the United States. 17-year-old Lucy Delorier with her brilliant partner, Hester, and Zazu Hoffman, a new name to many, but she was the number 1 qualifier to earn the right to start last in the first round of today's Imperial Winning Round. All the action from the International Ring at Spruce Meadows when we return.
Mending all that's broken, remnants of all that's golden. I'm holding on to that feeling. I'm holding on to that feeling. I'm holding on to that feeling.
Action underway in the Imperial Winning Round here at Spruce Meadows, where course designer Santiago Varela of Spain has set an interesting track for the 30 that have qualified to start. Clear rounds have been somewhat of a rare commodity, but here's a man who has jumped many clear rounds during the summer series here at Spruce Meadows, the reigning World Cup champion from the United States, McLean Ward, on Double H Carlos. To date, he has posted the fastest of the cleans here in the opening round of the Imperial and earned himself most assuredly a late order of go in the still-to-come winning round. Spectacular conditions on the International Ring at Spruce Meadows. Here's a look at the current standings. McLean Ward amongst a group of great veterans. However, 17-year-old Lucy Delorier has made her presence known. As you look at the top 10 to date, only 10 and/or all clears will advance, so Tina Yates currently on the bubble in the International Ring at Spruce Meadows. Our order of go features some of the sport's best. Still to come, including Canada's Tiffany Foster, the defending champion of the Imperial Winning Round, and another youngster, Zazu Hoffman, will be last into the International Ring as we look at young Daniel Coyle charging through the clock tower. He has enjoyed an extraordinary Spruce Meadows Summer Series, leaping up the world standings virtually after every competition. Today there's a 530-meter track for the 22-year-old Irishman who rides out of the Lothlorien farm in central Canada. Just this year, receiving the former mounts of Connor Swale, and he has seized the opportunity with this great stable of horses, and he'll look to continue that today. Will Daniel Coyle. Simba de la Roque is the big chestnut he's underway with here in the international ring. This is an 11-year-old Selle Francais gelding, now taking on the first test of this 530-meter competition. Those advancing will come back to a shortened course against the clock with a clear score sheet. So in the event that there are not tier 10 clears, rather, the next best faults will make the cut into the winning round of this competition. So far, so good. However, issues there at the number 7 Rolex obstacle with the Liverpool underneath it. Now as he makes his way over to the east side of the ring and towards the Sawtooth Oxer. Now he's got to pick up the pace. Time could become very important in determining who advances to the winning round. Balancing up now as he approaches the final line. One sharp turn around the playpen and over the signature obstacle to finish in 73.32. So he moves into the 8th slot right now. The waiting game will commence for Daniel Coyle, as he is a fast 4 around here. He would have preferred to be clear to ensure himself a ticket, but such is not the case. Here's a look at the issues at the yellow and green Rolex Oxer. The back rail coming down as he charges hard to make up time across the finish line. Simba de la Roque will now begin to wait. Next up will be Beezy Madden, the former World Cup champion, who brings with her her World Cup championship mount, Simon.
Simon's doing well. He had almost a year off before this spring, so he's just really coming back, and that's why he's doing the meter 50. He feels great. You know, he's 18, so we kind of take it in stride every day and see, but he feels like a young 18 right now, and he's happy to be here.
The great Simon with the even greater Beezy Madden in the iron. Simon, of course, has jumped to victory around the world, not only with Beezy to the World Cup title, but with the great Jeroen Dubbeldam, who rode this magnificent bay gelding to victory in the CP International here at Spruce Meadows a number of years ago. And at 18 years of age, coming back from that year on the sidelines and looking very good right now with Beezy Madden. And the Liverpool catches another entry here. This time it's the front rail that the great gelding has down. So she'll now pick up the tempo a little bit, hoping for a ticket to the winning round as they make their way across the arena from the east side into this interesting line over the dry ditch. And now the triple combination. Vertical Oxer right next to the playpen area in the stadium today, and a hard turn back to the right over the Imperial signature fence. So Beezy Madden, efficient as always, precariously close to the bubble here. She's currently in 9th place with Simon, 75.97, with plenty of great talent still to come. She in no way is assured a ticket to the next round of competition. Here's a look at Simon at the green and yellow Oxer. Little doubt there. The rail comes down into the middle of the water tray. A look down onto the international ring as we await the next entry in our competition today. And the klaxon on the international ring commences the 45-second countdown for our next entry on course. This is Wesley Newlands, young Canadian rider who is experiencing a bit of an eye-opening experience here at the 2017 Summer Series, playing against some of the very best in the world and doing so with solid results. That's got to build confidence with her as she is underway now aboard her 14-year-old Dutch warm-bled mare, Viminka. Getting a sense of the size and the requirements of the international ring. These young riders often are a little awestruck when they come through the clock tower. The magnitude of the ring, the magnitude of the obstacles, not only in their vertical challenge, but the tradition of Spruce Meadows, many of the rails up to 5 meters in width. And we continue to see that distance coming across the ring, tricking these riders from obstacle 6 to 7, having the Rolex signature oxer down for 4 faults. Viminka carrying good pace with the young Canadian over this obstacle 11, the dry ditch oxer. Touched them all, but none of them came down through the triple combination, and now hard over the final fence. Not very quick, however, to get around this track on 4 faults. 79.44 will not qualify them or even give them a hope to advance to the winning round here. So here's a look at the issue. Again, not enough chance to get that horse backed off the rail to get its legs up, and thus the 4 faults. And here we see touching everything through the triple combination, but those rails stay up. However, on the 4 faults, there is no reason to hope they will advance to the winning round now, with the top 10 only advancing today. The great veteran Cameron Hanley will look to join the leaderboard now. There has been a total of 7 clear rounds. 3 are sitting on the bubble, with 4. The Irish veteran now firing up aboard Aitora, the 12-year-old Dutch warm-blood gelding. Big horse with a very talented rider. Just eats up the ground in the international ring. It took this horse a little while at the start of the Summer Series to get used to the expanse of the international ring, opening up its stride now, much to the advantage of the rider on board, the veteran Cameron Hanley, stretching out over the oxer here. And over a number of weeks, when you see horses adjust to the environment of the international ring, it really is a treat to watch them just open up and enjoy jumping in the wide open spaces over the near perfect ground. And he handles the green and yellow oxer very well. Little encouragement there as they head over to the east side of the road jump. Tricky little vertical with a white ground line there. And then again, Cameron, sensing the big gelding needs some encouragement over the oxers, so wanting him to stay off the back rail of these oxers. Bit of a touch there as he bends around to this final 13th obstacle. Nicely done. Cameron Hanley sneaks in around this course under the time allowed. So he has assured himself a ticket to the Imperial Winning Round, still to come. Here's a look as they head over that final vertical now, trying to press across to beat the time allowed. They do so, and they will now look to move on, as will our next entry on course, Canada's Tiffany Foster, who returns to defend her title with Brighton.
He's a very quick horse by nature, so I like to put him in these winning round where speed becomes a factor because you have to go fast in the first round to even get in. And he's a great competitor, so when I have him in the jump off and I have a good plan, I know I have a good chance to win.
Certainly a fan of this 11-year-old gelding, Brighton, who a year ago jumped to victory in this event, and now the veteran Olympian from Canada's West Coast will be underway, looking to tick off the first of the things to do in today's competition. That is jump clear and give herself a chance to defend her title. Carrying good pace here. She knows that that time can also be important as in the case of equality of faults, it determines the start list for the winning round, so she will not waste time around course. This big gelding likes a very forward ride, and of course Tiffany, after all her years of training with and alongside Eric Lamaze, understands the importance of pace in this sport. Real crowd favorite as she makes her way back towards the west side of the arena. She'll have the dry ditch here and onto the triple combination. So far, so good for the defending champion in the Imperial Winning Round. Takes a bit of a wider berth there to give Brighton a chance to see the big vertical. He sees it and he masters it, and oh, very close to the time allowed. Indeed, only half a second to spare for Tiffany Foster. So dancing with the devil a bit there on the clock. Nonetheless, on to the winning round goes the defending champion at Spruce Meadows. As she came around the final line, she gave the horse a lot more opportunity than many had. She did not cut the inside corner, but the risk pays off for the clear round. She heads back to the clock tower with a smile on her face as her two-time Olympic teammate and mentor, I dare say, Eric Lamaze, is underway now with Chaco Kid. Interesting story. Chaco Kid comes off of Eric's depth chart as a really nice go-to horse that gets predictable results and handles himself in pressure situations very well for Eric. Interesting thing about this horse in this particular year is that Chaco Kid, this is his first year competing as a gelding. So both he and another former stallion of Eric's, Coco Bungo, have had appointments with the veterinarian over the last 14 months or so. So far, the big chestnut handling the course with ease. You can see the pace that Eric likes to keep these horses revved up to. Really riding them into the bridle. So far, so good. There's the inside corner taken by Eric Lamaze. He wants a fast time as well as a clear round, and he's going to get both. 74.07 puts him into third position in order of merit here in the first round of competition. So Chaco Kid and Eric Lamaze have assured themselves another late start position and an assurance of moving forward with one left to go here in the opening round. Here's a look at Eric Lamaze and the big chestnut coming through the triple combination. Picture perfect. And then the final fence, stop the clock, and get ready for the winning round. So the veterans are shining here today. We've seen young brilliance in the form of Lucy Delorier, and now our final entry in this first round. Another one of the new generation coming in, Zazu Hoffman of the United States, aboard her 14-year-old Dutch warm blood mare, Zermi. Zazu scoring her first ever FEI 5-star win here at the Spruce Meadows Summer Series earlier this week. And now underway with a horse that we know has not only the speed, but enough scope to handle what's happening here in the international ring. Let's see now with the stakes higher and the pressure to jump clear, how the youngster responds. Not carrying a lot of ground speed right now, but Zermi does have a rather long stride. Let's see as she makes her way back in front of the clock tower and over this Rio Olympic oxer, if she picks up her pace a bit. Horse and rider expected to maintain that pace of 400 meters per minute in order to come in under our time allowed, which today is set at 80 seconds. Bit of a touch there at the dry ditch before she heads into this vertical oxer combination, balancing up the horse, making sure she's listening and sighting in the fences, cutting the corner there to save some precious ground. Time will be all right, as you can see there, 6th position, so she is guaranteeing a spot in the winning round by virtue of her 0-fault performance, and with that time, that's the 6th fastest of the clear rounds posted here today. There's a look at Zazu over towards the road jump over the turquoise and white bird cage or birdhouse obstacle, and there she is nicely through the triple before bringing it home. Zazu Hoffman of the United States will now take her time departing the international ring as she catches her breath to prepare for an all-new course for the top 10 that have advanced to the Imperial Winning Round. There's a look at the results from round 1. McLean Ward posting the fastest clear and earning the right to come back last in today's competition. And as you can see, all the spots were taken by clear rounds, including having to go to 11th with Alberto Michan of Mexico. The Imperial Winning Round and the 11 that remain when we return to Spruce Meadows. Welcome back to the Spruce Meadows North American, presented by Rolex, and our coverage today of the Imperial Winning Round. Here is a look at the 11 horse rider combinations that have qualified to come back over this new course. McLean Ward, the reigning World Cup champion, has earned himself the right to go last, and there is plenty of speed and talent on both pages of that order of go. 320-meter, 8 jumping effort, 7 numbered obstacles have been laid out by course designer Santiago Varela, and the first to go is the Mexican athlete Alberto Michan as he sizes up things on the international ring aboard his chestnut mount. 10-year-old Belgium warm blood. This mare has plenty of speed coming into the ring now, albeit she didn't show it in the first round. That could be a benefit. He doesn't have to slow her down now. He had the slowest of the clear rounds, and he is underway aboard Handy, Alberto Michan. Ooh, got a little surprised, it looked like, at the second fence there, and didn't quite know how high to lift those front legs. So sitting on 4 faults early on with still half the track to jump. He'll pick the pace up, it seems. Try and get in with a good time allowed, or a good running time rather. Just 2 elements from the first round triple combination there. Vertical oxer now, and now a bending line to this Rolex oxer that was problematic in the first round and proves to be so again for Handy. So sitting on 8 faults, our first of the winning round candidates. Time is also going to be tight. So there you see it, picks up a time fault, time allowed 48 seconds, and 2 rails down, an early one and a late one, and that doesn't spell a very good result. Here's a look at that early rail, got in and then just wasn't ready. The horse came in and wasn't prepared, and here they got a little standoffish and not enough motor to cover that green and yellow oxer after losing all that energy a couple of strides out from the fence. So now, Brighton with Tiffany Foster gets ready to see if she can defend her title. Tough position to be in so early in this winning round with many of the best in the world still to follow. But I suspect she'll come out and maybe try and lay down a quick time and have them catch her with a horse she has tremendous confidence in and knows she can ride quickly. Tiffany Foster underway. And she's on a good pace right off the get-go. Good efficient turn there. Started to execute it early on. Really driving now and setting up these fences to position herself well to get to the next one in the most efficient way possible. Now into the double combination. Carrying good time. Brighton seems onto it today. She's really wanting to put the pressure on the rest of the field. And look at this. Tiffany Foster, sub 40 seconds as the second entry in, 39.90. And that serves notice that she is prepared to challenge these, to take the title away from her. 2016 champion of this event. Lays it down aboard Brighton. There's a great look at her starting to cut that in midair aboard Brighton. Save the precious seconds, save the strides, and try and be as efficient and prompt around this winning round course. So she will go back and share her experience with Eric Lamaze still to come. Wonder if she'll share all the tricks to her success as we get ready for our next entry on course. Third to go in the winning round from Spain. The great veteran aboard Prunella. This is Paulo Amalabia. Already she seems to be somewhat off the pace set by Tiffany Foster. But Tiffany has these 7 chasing her, knowing the time to beat. But you better come through those start timers rather promptly, because you're not going to be able to do it in the second part of the course. You can see she's already 5 seconds off the standard. So more or less looking for a double clean here, I think Paula is. And Prunella finishes up with 1 time fault, so 48.20 the time on the winning round trip, but a tad too slow for the Spanish veteran. Here they are coming down the final line here before they finish up. Perfect jumping form around the course, just taking a little too much time today, not maintaining that 400 meters per minute. Ireland's Cameron Handley is hungry, and he's looking at Ayatora to get the job done today. The 12-year-old gelding with the big stride. See how efficient this horse is, as Brighton not only was fast, but very smooth and efficient around the corners. Hanley opening up at the angle there, saving precious strides and time through all these lines. A little bit of a press there by Hanley as he tries to open up the gelding and eat up some of this international ring course. He's going to have to really pick it up. He's about 2 seconds off the pace set by Tiffany Foster. Now he goes to the full-out gallop down the final line. And he cannot make up the time in the second half of the course. 42.90 is about 2 seconds. Make that 3 seconds off the pace of Brighton and Tiffany Foster. So 39.90 leads the way on a clear round. Here's the look at the Big Bay with Cameron Hanley executing the turn midway over the Oxer. Mario Delorier will be next to come on his 8-year-old Bardolina, who he must be thrilled with as this youngster progresses to the international level.
I mean, it's always great to ride in this international arena. I think all riders in the world really enjoy it, and I was just wondering how she would react today. There's more people around, and she's only 8 really, so she's pretty green, but she did a great job, and she responded to the task great, and I couldn't be any happier with her.
Mario Delorier, who has a couple of youngsters in this competition today, this 8-year-old mare and then his 17-year-old daughter still to come. And Mario is got very high hopes for this horse, and the 2017 Summer Series is to see if Bartolina can take the championship environment such as that presented by the International Ring at Spruce Meadows, and she's handled it very well. So far, Tiffany Foster has nothing to worry about. However, with this entry is the time to beat of 39.90 on a clear performance. But Mario, in all fairness, is really hoping this horse just keeps jumping clear rounds. The speed part of it, the real speed part of it, is maybe a year away. He knows he's got the luck of the Irish with him right now, however. The veteran leaves, and as he was talking about nerves and young horses, the same can be said with nerves and young riders. Zazu Hoffman knows what that's all about.
It's something I'm still working on today, so it's hard, and you need a lot of fortitude to be able to go in there and produce results and take care of your horse as well, and just do day to day gets hard to stay strong mentally. So I think you just take each experience and learn a little bit from it, and try to move on to the next one. Take each thing as it comes.
The youngster from Santa Monica, California, is now in the winning round in the International Ring at Spruce Meadows. She'll try and settle in, use some of those mental exercises that are so important to beat the nerves, and having the first fence down is awfully difficult. As Zermi, her 14-year-old mare, not quite able to get it right over fence number 1, so she's out of the running today after fighting her way into this winning round competition. This sport very much a character builder in that regard. It can change very quickly as she now heads through the combination. Seems to have settled it a little better, pressing hard towards the oxer. Not allowing the horse to give that enough respect, so the front feet take it down. Now sitting on 8 faults, and we'll make it 12. So a bit of a disappointing finale to the Spruce Meadows North American from the youngster from the United States, who's already tasted victory this season, but will not taste it again. And the problem started early, fence number 1.
Tiffany Foster of Canada.
Just not quite sharp enough to get through 2 rounds of competition here against the best in the world.
And here's Mario's daughter now, back to the United States of America, Lucy Deloria.
Canada's Tiffany Foster leads the way at Spruce Meadows. 17-year-old Lucy Deloria will look to change that aboard her very nifty partner, Hester, the 12-year-old Belgium warm blood. What a combination these two have been, coming up through the junior ranks and then making the transition across a very big threshold very quickly into the open ranks, and not only doing it and surviving, doing it and winning. And they find themselves now in the winning round at Spruce Meadows. Lucy Deloria, who just is a year out from finishing high school in the United States. Very strong student. In fact, during the summer series here at Spruce Meadows, had to take off for a day and go write her aptitude test for college applications next year. She's about 2 seconds off, but she got in way too deep there. You see, she decided to press, and she kind of confused the horse, and Hester didn't know what to do. He wasn't going to take off at the long distance, and he wasn't going to get in as deep as they were, and that spelled problems for Lucy Deloria and Hester. So not the way she felt it would go today. Normally very predictable in their chemistry and communication. There it was just all off, and the horse had no chance to get out of the way of that obstacle. Looked like the distance came upon her quicker than she expected. The 17-year-old from the United States departs the ring. Into the ring, 59-year-old Leslie Howard of the United States, who a year ago aboard her 8-year-old Donna Special provided us all with a memorable Spruce Meadows moment in time. year ago on the final day of the Spruce Meadows North American, it was a speed classic featuring two of the fastest in the world. 21-year-old Daniel Coyle, the newcomer from Ireland, aboard Fortis Fortuna, took the lead and thought he was going to ride away a victor from the Spruce Meadows North American. But then, riding the 8-year-old mare, a new ride for her in 2016, 58-year-old Leslie Howard of Westport, Connecticut, did what she's done so well through the decades. She laid down a clear, fast round with her new horse, Donna Special.
You know, this is a new mare to me, and we've just had her for probably 4 months now, and obviously I'm just tickled. Every class she just gets better.
The Spruce Meadows Classic goes to Leslie Howard of the United States, a spectacular win aboard Donna Special.
And there is the game face of the great veteran from Westport, Connecticut, Leslie Howard. A year older, a year wiser is Donna Special, a horse that she very much believes has the right tools to go to the top of this sport. Jumped a clear round earlier today. Has a really interesting way of going, but I'm sure this mare now senses when Leslie's in this mode that something's about to happen, and she's going to want it to happen very fast. So they are off. Big strided horse. Leslie will not go to the brakes very often during this round. She'll always be moving forward. She'll always be looking to the next fence with that laser vision. And her ability, hung up a bit there over the dry ditch, but cleared it. She's got about a second and a half to make up here. Spending a bit too much time in the air, perhaps, is Donna Special. Again, plenty of clearance there, and now Leslie's opening up. But she's not going to get it done, it does not look like to me, as they open up over the final fence. A reasonable trip, but not quite there in the efficiency. Perhaps a little too much time in the air, and perhaps not quick enough off the get-go to catch our leader, Tiffany Foster. Sizing her up over the dry ditch, you can see how high she went in the air. She did that on a number of occasions on course, and that over 8 or 9 jumping efforts can add to added time. So Leslie Howard does not knock Tiffany Foster out of the top of the standings, but does put her into second position currently. Tiffany Foster will be watching very carefully now as Choco Kid and Eric Lamaze open up here in the winning round. Big momentum early for Eric Lamaze as he gets all the motor he can under this chestnut. And he pulls a rail, so he'll ease up a little bit now, knowing he can't catch Tiffany. Eric never wanted to take too much time on course, however. So again, not the running time required, but that was academic given that Tiffany was clear and fast, and Eric had an early 4 faults with Choco Kid to deal him out of any hopes of victory. Here's a look as he comes in. A little bit of a pull there before he got to the Oxer, maybe confused the gelding a little bit, and mixed emotion for Tiffany, who always goes for Eric, but not as much perhaps when she's leading the way. Eric Lamaze departs the international ring at Spruce Meadows with 2 left to go here in the Imperial Winning Round. There is our leader as she eagerly awaits the final results.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Keeping her fingers crossed as Connor Swale comes in aboard Flower. Certainly a fast horse. Flower is a 12-year-old Belgium warm blood mare. First year under the tutelage of Connor Swale, who is known as a very forward, fast, and risk-taking rider. Let's see early on in the relationship if he's prepared to push Flower, as we've seen him in the past with the likes of Martha Louise. was a bit of a light touch there. Nonetheless, it was enough of a touch to lower the back rail of the oxer for 4 faults. So there's only one left that can catch Tiffany Foster now. That, of course, the reigning World Cup champion and 2-time Olympic gold medalist McLean Ward, who currently sits number 2 overall in the world rankings. Pretty good time laid down here by Swale after an early rail. So going forward, Flower looks like she might be a good speed horse for the very talented Irishman, Connor Swale. Here you look early on. We've seen it come down a couple of times here in the winning round. Just the lightest of touches there with the back legs on the front rail to deny victory, or hopes of victory, to Connor Swale. So this will bring us to McLean Ward, the final horse rider combination in today's Imperial Winning Round, and he is firing up on Double H Carlos, his 15-year-old bay gelding. Such a reliable partner through the years in every type of competition, especially when speed matters, and it does here. 39.90 the time to beat. A clear round must be posted. Everything will be surgical in its approach to this course. He will have dissected his every stride. He's got about a second to make up now, however. Big stretch there by Carlos as he now takes the final bending line. Can he get it done? 39.90 the time to beat. He's over, he's clear, but he is slow by almost a second. Victory goes to that young lady, Canada's Tiffany Foster, aboard Brighton, defends her title at Spruce Meadows in the Imperial Winning Round. A terrific result as McLean Ward gave it his best as the final entry to go, but could not match the time laid down 8 entries ago. All those horse rider combinations chasing Tiffany Foster, including this man, and none could catch her. And here's a look at her reactions to victory on the final day of the Spruce Meadows North American. Tiffany Foster congratulates Brighton with a little cool aquafina in the hitching ring area here, the on-deck circle next to the Spruce Meadows International Ring, and congratulations start to pour in from colleagues and competitors alike. A great way to finish the summer tour for Tiffany Foster. Look at who she beat. Here are the final standings. Tiffany Foster, McLean Ward, and Leslie Howard reached the medal podium here at Spruce Meadows. 11 advanced from those qualified to start today. Eric Lamaze also in the running for Canada, finishing up in 7th position. We will meet our winner when we return to Spruce Meadows.
It's time for ooey gooey, melt in your mouth, lip smacking, soul affirming, lovely, special, smooth, delicious chocolates. Only from Purdy's Chocolatier.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the International Ring at Spruce Meadows. You were just treated to one of the great speed rounds in the history of the ring. Canada's Tiffany Foster wins the Imperial Winning Round. Not only that, she defended her title, and she is all smiles in the victory circle. How does it feel to be a champion again at Spruce Meadows?
It feels amazing as every time, and I'm just so proud of this little horse. He loves this class. You know, he blistered it last year, and he kind of did the same thing today. And again, his owner, Carlene Ziegler's here, and I swear to God, she's good luck. And it is especially emotional because this is his groom's last class with him. She's doing other things after, so I'm so happy he won.
Great to go out a winner. Now tell me, you advanced to the winning round and you had some heavy hitters following you. How was the weight?
Terrible, absolutely terrible. And I'm trying to be a team player and telling Eric how to go faster and secretly thinking like, we can also just go a little slower, it's fine. And then of course, if you have McLean Ward on Carlos as the last horse, I just kind of closed my eyes and hoped.
Well, it all belongs to you, and I believe you know this man. Rich Kruger, welcome back to the winner's circle for the Imperial Winning Round. Another great day at Spruce Meadows.
Thank you. It's great to be here. First of all, Tiffany, congratulations back to back. At Imperial, we appreciate excellence, and that's exactly what we saw from you today, so congratulations.
Well, you had the advantage of the best seat in the house. What this lady brought to the ring and the ride she rode in the winning round was impressive.
It was impressive. And, when she rode, there were many riders left, but several of us watching said, we just saw the winner, and that's exactly what happened.
You saw the winner. She's with us now in the winner's circle, and this piece of hardware has been part of the Spruce Meadows Championship collection for 40 years. Why don't you two step forward and hoist the Imperial Winning Round champion, Tiffany Foster of Canada, aboard Brighton.
Integrity, caring, agility, collaboration. Every day, our people go to work delivering inspired solutions in structures and logistics, electricity, natural gas, retail energy, and ports and transportation to homes, businesses, and communities around the world. Find out more at atco.com.
Pure Leaf iced tea starts with the finest tea leaves. Carefully selected and slow brewed for a taste you can truly savor. We take our time. You take yours. Pure Leaf, real brewed iced tea.
We've all got some miles to make up. Miles to the job site, the campsite, and anything else we set our sights on. So let's roll up our sleeves, because we've got miles to make up. Now you can buy from home with the help of Ram Click and Drive. And during Ram Summer Clearance, you pay what we pay with Employee Pricing Plus and 0% financing for 84 months.
Thank you for joining us today watching the North American at home. We carry many grooming tools and solutions here at the shop to get your horse looking shiny from ear to tail. From fly spray to shampoo, hoof oil to basic vet supplies. Both horses are wearing customizable saddle pads by Ogilvy. Both the bump up and the saddle pad can be any color under the sun to represent you, your horse, or the barn you're with. And the ears that both horses are wearing are by Talisman. They again come in any color. As well as if you're looking for something a little bit more jazzy, Cantac Equestrian has a lot of custom options for their ears as well. We carry a large variety of tack for every price point. You can see our selection online or give us a call. Just to name a few, we carry Shires, Dion, None Finer, and Walsh. Every horse and rider have different needs when it comes to bits. By carrying a large selection of bits, we try to meet these needs. We carry Steuben, Trust, Poppuccini, Jump-In, Nath, Myler, just to name a few. The horses shown here are wearing boots by Veritas. Our selection of boots includes Equifit, Veritas, Escadron, Trust, Acavallo, and Grand Prix. Give us a call and we'll find the right boot for your horse. Are you looking for new stirrups for your saddle? Brian is using the Free Jump stirrups. They've got a safety technology to them. We also have the Tech stirrup, the Cantac stirrup, which comes in a number of different fun colors, and also the more traditional Steuben stirrup. Brian is wearing our new men's breech by Anna Scarpati. It's a perfect breech for every day. It washes well. It's a great price point. We also have quite a number of breeches for men and women from Equiline, Sam Shields, Kingsland, Becure, AA Platinum and Vision Apparel. Give us a call and we can find the right breech for you. Both Brian and Christina are wearing Spruce Meadows branded apparel to be found on sale right now at the Spruce Meadows shop. We carry Omega Alpha at the Spruce Meadows shop. Omega Alpha offers a wide range of unique natural health products for riders, horses, and dogs. If you would like to find out the right product for you or one of your pets, give us a call or visit our website. The Spruce Meadows shop is proud to be the supplier of Cavalor in Alberta. They have a wide range of feed, supplements, and grooming products. You can find something for your broodmare, retired horse, or performance horse. Cavalor feed is available for pickup, or you can arrange delivery options. Give us a call at the shop. We can hook you up today. Right now, the Spruce Meadows shop is open by appointment. We're available for gateside pickup, feed pickup or delivery, and online 24/7. The Spruce Meadows shop is open Monday to Friday, 9 till 5.
This year, Spruce Meadows is proud to bring you our 45th anniversary edition of Name the Foal, presented by TELUS. We have some exciting updates for this year's contest, including 4 foals, a change in naming rules, an extended entry period, and a cash prize with unique keepsake. Follow the foals all summer through our official social media channels as they grow and develop, and we look forward to seeing the names. Visit namethefoal.sprucemeadows.com for more information and to submit your entries. Meet foal number 1. Born April 12, 2020, this little colt was the first Spruce Meadows foal of the year. Not one to shy away, he's figured out that people give the best neck scratches. While he was born dark in color, his dad, Spruce Meadows stallion Do-Re-Mi, is gray, and this little guy will likely take on that color as he gets older. Foal number 1's name will have to start with the letter W. Inspired by the original Spruce Meadows stallion, Wodka, or Young Wolfsburg as he was known at Spruce Meadows, this beautiful Hanoverian stallion helped to introduce the breed to Canada. He was part of the foundation of what is now the Spruce Meadows breeding program. Meet foal number 2. Born April 24, 2020, the second foal of the year is also a colt and has the same sire as foal number 1. Unlike his sibling, he's a little more timid and prefers to stay closer to Mom. Mom is Spruce Meadows mare Skyline, who always produces great-looking foals. This is her 4th baby. Foal number 2's name will need to start with the letter A, inspired by Spruce Meadows riding master Albert Cly. Albert's passion for horses brought him to Canada as a young man. He never intended to settle down in Canada, but Spruce Meadows co-founder Ron Southern convinced him. Albert brought with him knowledge and skills that would be passed on to all of his students and help create what is now the Spruce Meadows Horse Program. He was responsible for the development of many national team horses and riders. Meet foal number 3, a real Mother's Day gift who was born on May 10th, 2020. She's the first filly out of all the foals this year and is easily recognizable with her big white blaze that mimics the markings of her father, Spruce Meadows stallion Spot Cash. Foal number 3 will need to have a name that starts with the letter S. Keeping with tradition of past years, her father is Spruce Meadows Hanoverian stallion Spot Cash, and we want her name to be inspired by Spruce Meadows and the Southern family. Spruce Meadows was the dream of the Southerns to bring an unlikely sport to an unlikely place, giving young Canadian riders a chance to successfully compete against the world's best. Since the inception of Spruce Meadows, Canadian riders have gone on to become some of the best in the world. Meet foal number 4. This year, Spruce Meadows welcomed a 4th foal to the family at the beginning of the Victoria Day long weekend on May 16, 2020. She is a beautiful big girl with bright eyes and a sweet personality. Her father is Do Re Mi, and her mother is the lovely Kate H. Foal number 4 is a bonus entry for Name the Foal presented by TELUS. Her name will need to start with the letter M, inspired by Spruce Meadows co-founder Mark Southern. Mrs. Southern has had unmatched influence and passion shaping Spruce Meadows into what it is today. Her motto, "The coffee pot is always on," brings a warm feeling to Spruce Meadows, and guests always feel like family. Visit namethefoal.sprucemeadows.com for more information and to submit your entries.
It's Saturday night, 4th of July, 2020 edition of the Spruce Meadows North American at home, and tonight we're going to continue with some focus on some great American stories and performances that we've been privy to over the last 45 years. Let's start with Rich Fellers. What a story he has been. He started competing here as a teenager with a horse named Texas Tea when it was a juniors only tournament. Since then, he's made the trek from Oregon every summer to be a part of the Spruce Meadows story and part of his story, a story that's taken him to the World Cup finals and the Olympic Games. But it's here in the international ring where he really cut his teeth and has performed some of the most astounding feats of horsemanship we've ever seen. In 1998, he had a run unlike any other we'd ever seen here at the Summer Series, and he did so with a number of horses. We're going to find out more about that a little later on. But first, let's talk a little bit about another great American, perhaps the greatest American rider of all time, Beezie Madden, who first arrived here in the late 1980s as a teenager selected to be on the United States equestrian team. She's since gone on to World Cup, World Championship, and Olympic medals. She's written her own Hall of Fame resume right here in the international ring at Spruce Meadows, and she's done so with many different horses. But in 2005, she recorded one of her most impressive victories in the Queen Elizabeth II Cup with her Olympic partner, Authentic. And she did so in a jump-off that featured some of the very best the sport has ever seen. The jump-off included the great Nick Skelton, McLean Ward, and Rodrigo Pessoa.
From a family's archives, childhood memories, boyhood dreams, the gallery of a future champion. 30 years of dedication, determination, resilience, and courage, chasing a dream. In July of 1998, Rich Fellers arrived.
The Eagle has landed in the champion circle here at Spruce Meadows in the form of Rich Fellers of Wilsonville, Oregon.
Writing an incredible chapter in his career for the history books, fulfilling a childhood dream he's long been chasing. This is his story. at the Spruce Meadows North American.
In July of '98, the summer rains came to Calgary, Alberta. They fell on Spruce Meadows in record amounts. And for the first time in their history, the North American Showjumping Championship was dangerously close to being postponed.
I got a horse from George Fire here.
But sport is about weathering storms. And the challenge for athletes is to rise above the distractions, including the weather. American ace Rich Fellers, self-taught, self-motivated, and owning a lifetime of experience. An athlete who has proved strength, talent, and intellect need not be strangers. In the summer of '98, Rich Fellers jumped ahead of the crowd on the most impressive streak North American showjumping has ever seen. This is the story of Rich Fellers' quest for his first Spruce Meadows North American Showjumping Championship. This is another page in the Spruce Meadows Horse Diaries.
I've taught myself a lot of things, but I've picked them up from other riders. You know, I watch a lot, and I don't know why that is, or maybe because I never really had a trainer, and maybe I just instinctively, without someone telling me what to do, I looked around and tried to figure out what to do. So, I'm taught by the other riders, basically.
Rich Fellers' two greatest assets are his mind and his soulmate, ground person and wife, Shelley. It's Saturday morning and they've been up since 5 a.m. The rains have eased off, but with 8 horses to ride, the day promises to be a long one. In a counter-strike against the day itself, however, the focus is more intense.
It just, I think, got in my blood, like it seems to get in everybody's blood, and the more I got into it, the more difficult it became to think about getting out of it. Keep working, you gotta work harder and train better, and just, just try to do more than everybody else does. Keep your horses happier, more fit. We really focus on fitness with our horses, a lot of hill work and a lot of flat work, and that's all you can do. Just give it your best shot.
With incredible composure, the less than ideal conditions are literally like water off a duck's back for Rich Fellers as he prepares for the Canada Post Express. Time is of the essence in this launch of the championship weekend. Challenging Rich is fellow American Candace King, returning in '98 after a 7-year absence when she captured the North American title. Candace, too, has been riding out some of life's bad weather.
My parents had horses in the backyard, and actually before I was born, I was in the saddle. Literally. It's been too long since I've been back, but I had some changes, some job changes and different situations that, I had to try and rebuild a string, and I didn't want to come back until I was ready to be competitive. You have to have the horses, and you have to have the support behind you, and it takes a lot to get all the ingredients together, and I think, a lot of people, just like in any sport, have different changes, and so that was something that I had to kind of deal with, and it's made me a stronger person and made me kind of find who I am and take a hard look at what I want for myself. And so it's been a challenge, but I'm glad to be back.
Candace is not only a heartfelt favorite, but a competitive favorite as well. She rides early in the Canada Post, and Rich Fellers will continue to prepare his horse as Candace makes her move on the course. Shelley Fellers serves as Rich's eyes on the competition as Rich continues to warm up in the back. Candace throws down the gauntlet and quickly establishes that Candace King is back.
There's a great round for Candace King and Runnington, no faults. Their time is 69.85.
It is really wet and it is deep, and for sure there's places that someone could be faster. I tried to just set the pace and be as quick as I could, but clean, even though, you know, it's faults converted, but my horse was great for me.
This is Rich Fellers from Wilsonville, Oregon.
Rich Fellers knows the risks. He's weighed them, made his decision, and prepared his plan. And now, it will all be in the execution. A wider turn, hundredths of a second lost. This is a game of inches, with no room for error.
I knew the footing was very deep in front of that orange triple bar, the final fence, so I was a little conservative. I consciously thought I'm going to take it easy with this last jump, and that's all it takes in this sport, you know. In a speed class like that, you can't be cautious anywhere. So I paid the price.
The price? Second place to Candace King. She was hungry. She could taste victory. Candace King is on the comeback trail. And the championship battle heats up. Although the rain has stopped, the ground is saturated for the Nortel Queen Elizabeth II Cup. The ground crews at Spruce Meadows work around the clock in a tireless effort to keep the footing safe. An added dilemma to the course walk, where riders map out their plans, is the consideration of the ground on the takeoff and landing sides of the jumps. This weighs heavy on Rich Fellers' mind as he contemplates how his new horse will handle the challenge.
He jumps extremely easily. I mean, I've just never ever ridden a horse that just gets up in the air so easy.
Rich Fellers from Wilsonville, Oregon, with a horse that he has been trying to buy since it was 4 years old. He finally convinced the owner to part with the horse. Its name is Stealth Springer, a 9-year-old horse bred in the United States, but with Dutch bloodlines.
And he just has everything we all search for, you know. He's got technique, he's very careful, he's quite brave, and he has incredible scope. And I don't know that I've ever had a horse with all of those characteristics. And he has a very nice way of moving. He's really balanced, powerful canter, and quite adjustable and a good mind, so he's easy to ride, and he's just kind of a dream horse, you know, at this point.
The Dream Team. The man with the dreams on a dream horse. Shelley sets the stage for Rich to clear his mind, for laser-like precision focus on the heroic challenge at hand. Candace King sets the earlier competition just off to the side. After all, sport is about confidence. Rich is the first of the two to negotiate the course. As Rich takes on this big track, Candace King is quietly in the back, visualizing her plan of attack. Fellers accomplishes his task. No faults. He advances to round 2. Candace King eyes Feller's score, which she is determined to match. And she, too, is on a new horse.
Mangrove Maddie. Newly acquired. I called a friend of mine. I needed another horse for the big ring here, and about 3-4 days before I left to come here, I called her and asked what that one was doing, and I'd never sat on her before. And she said, go ahead, and we were packed, ready to go, waiting in Detroit, Michigan, and we were waiting for her to arrive from New Jersey, and an hour later she got on our rig, and we headed up here, and the first time I jumped the course was last Friday night with her.
It takes time to develop a partnership. Time is a luxury Candace and Mangrove Maddie did not have. Rich Fellers has mentally moved to the second round already, getting set to warm up Stealth Springer once again. In order for Candace to advance, she must go clear. Mission accomplished, and the partnership blossoms. Rich is the first back of 6 clear rounds in the Nortel Queen Elizabeth II Cup. Once again, he knows what he must do. Once again, he can taste victory.
Stealth Springer was the slowest of the cleans, but clean nonetheless. Rich Fellers has been on fire at this year's North American Championship and currently leads them. Rich Fellers.
Once again, he is clear. In sport, you must not hesitate. Make your move and strike. Make your own opportunities. And once again, Candace must duplicate.
A move to the East Coast, the state of North Carolina, and the building of a new international string of horses led by this one.
Perhaps it's the footing, or perhaps it's the lack of time to develop the synchronicity. Either way, a rail falls. 4 faults, and Candace is instantly dealt out. Once again, Rich must go first. He is the first of 3 in a jump-off.
One and 2 are in the same spots. Jump 1 and 2 were not moved. They're in the same place. Okay.
This is not an enviable position. The pathfinder, the pace setter, 3 times in a row. No chance to gauge your competitors. Rich is fast and clean, but he is stoppable. And once again, hundredths of a second separate Rich from his victory. He must settle for a second place. But for Rich, it's a good day. He has the lead. He has gained great strides in his move on the championship title. It's the final day of what has proved to be an exhausting battle for the North American Championship. The American Airlines flight to the finish starts the day. And now Rich is in full stride. Today, in the jump-off, his 8-year-old horse Amos delivers a perfect time that cannot be caught. Victory is sweet, but now fasten your seatbelts for the Chrysler Classic. The course is nothing less than a test of courage. It's Candace King's turn to lead off. The sun is shining, but the turf is severely damaged. It will be more difficult for the horses. And neither Maddie or Stealth have jumped the Derby. This is baptism by fire in the Chrysler Classic. The most difficult on the Derby course is the Devil's Dyke. King's Day ends. A learning experience for sure, yet she cannot hide her disappointment. The 1991 North American champion will not repeat in '98. For Rich Fellers, the door is wide open, but Stealth Springer is young and also a rookie over Derby obstacles.
He would be inexperienced Section 2 horse for sure. I mean, this is his first season jumping at the Grand Prix level, so realistically he wouldn't be a #1 kind of favorite. But his performance so far this year has proven that, you know, maybe he could have a shot.
Winning is about seizing the moment. No second guessing, just the burning and unquenchable desire to achieve. And so, in the summer of '98, with fire in his belly, Rich Fellers seized the moment. For 22 years, Rich Fellers has entered competition at the Spruce Meadows North American, and he has had much success. But it will be 3 days in July of '98 that he most remembers.
I was just thrilled with his performance for his first Derby of his life, his first time through the dike of any size. He's never even jumped a lower dike, and I'm just thrilled that it's over with. You know, it's all over. The whole thing was fabulous, and I'll never forget it the rest of my life. But it was stressful just putting the horses through that much. You know, tough going.
Rich Fellers is now etched in history as the 1998 North American champion. Turning the page, he will now author a new chapter in the Spruce Meadows Horse Diaries.
A lifelong dream. I've been coming here for 22 years, and I've always kind of looked at that as something maybe someday, if I was lucky, I could be there.
Hey, did you hear from the real estate agent?
No.
Anything from the agent?
No?
Anywhere from the agent?
No.
Yes, yes, yes.
No. No. No.
Spectacular conditions at Spruce Meadows for the 2005 edition of the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup, and with those conditions, fans by the tens of thousands have arrived at Spruce Meadows to see some of the world's best take on the international ring. Hello and welcome to Spruce Meadows. I'm Ian Allison, joined by Linda Heathcott for what promises to be a spectacular day of sport, a two-round Grand Prix. Those advancing to the second round will have had an awfully tough test in round number one.
Length is going to be a factor, 650 meters, time allowed 98 seconds. Two very demanding lines. The first one, the triple combination to the big water jump, and then to a very skinny vertical. And the last line right by the in-gate, triple bar to double Liverpool verticals. I think those are the two tricky areas.
Only the top 12 will advance to round number two over an entirely different course. Both rounds designed by Brazil's Gui Jorge, who had a chance earlier in the week to catch up with our Robin Reed.
Well, we have now the 12th best back, so from the course designer's point of view, we know that we can ask a lot of questions for them, and it's the second round, so they expect the jumps to be bigger, so they're going to be bigger from the beginning. We'll have a combination early on the course, 3AB. Then we're going to have a scope test, 2 oxers, 4 and 5. 4 is going to be over the dry ditch, so it's always a test for the riders. The horses can be distracted there. Then they're going to have 4 strides to another big oxer, so that's a scope test. Number 6 is going to be the very careful jump. Then they go to the last line, 9 ABC, so it's a triple in the end of the course. The horses might be a little bit tired by then, so that's going to be, even if the heights are going to be pretty demanding, it's going to be more a careful triple combination than in the first round. The first round, the horses are more fresh, so I could ask a little bit more of scope on them, from them on the combination. And then 10 is the last jump, is a pretty scopy oxer.
This looks like a galloping course.
Yeah, we always try to give them, especially in a big and nice ring like this at the International Arena here, we always try to give them a lot of room so that they can keep their balance and moving forward.
The course designers study the horses and the riders very carefully to come up with their course designs. What will he be asking of them in the second round?
The second round will encompass a little bit of the fatigue factor. Whilst it is not as long as the first round, only 450 meters and the time allowed 68 seconds, where we'll see the horses get tired is the last turn to the last obstacle on course, which is an immense oxer. And what will come into play is they're turning away from the in-gate. So they're going to want to go home to see their buddies.
Of course, the veterans of the sport expect those things from international course designers. Such is not the case for many of the rookies. One of the rookies that's impressed us throughout the summer here at Spruce Meadows has been Casey Harrison of the United States, who you had a chance to catch up with very early this morning.
Casey Harrison of the United States has had a great series at Spruce Meadows. You have this magnificent horse, Coeur, who is jumping spectacular. You're riding with confidence. You look so composed in the international ring. Going into the Queen Elizabeth II Cup, what kind of characteristics do you think makes Coeur special? And tell us a little bit about him.
Coeur is a 9-year-old German-bred Holsteiner that I got a year ago from a man named John Renwick in England. And really, I think he's special because he's just so scopy and brave. And for a 9-year-old, any class that I've gone into, he's been willing to jump and he tries his hardest every time in the ring.
Now, going into today, have you gone through any special preparation with him? I know that you've had some concern about the bicycle jump. So is there anything that you're training on going into today?
I've been working off staying off the verticals a little bit. I overrode the bicycle a bit the first week and got deep to it. I knew that it was a bit of a bogey. The second week I jumped it clean, so hopefully I can do the same today. And really I did a class earlier in the week. I wanted to go slow and clean and the horse jumped really well. I wanted to give him a confident ride and I did that, so I feel ready to go into today.
Good, well we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Linda.
Without question, Casey Harrison and Coeur have been impressive all year. However, they will be hard-pressed today against a veteran international field. Who do you like?
Olympic experience. Norman Delajoy of the United States and Nick Skelton of Britain.
On the Olympic theme, I think you'd be hard-pressed not to include Rodrigo Pessoa, the reigning Olympic champion from Brazil. And Beezy Madden has been a bridesmaid in this event many times, and she scored a medal in Athens last year. We'll be back with our coverage of the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup right after this.
You have to face the situation that there's a lot of top athletes and a lot of really, really well prepared horse and rider combinations here, the best in the world.
It's really an unbelievable arena, unbelievable atmosphere, and you really want to surpass yourself every time you're here.
The fitter you are, the fitter the horses, the more chance you have of winning.
The ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup, where the best in the sport reigns supreme.
Austria's Johann Frischeist draws the first straw for our coverage today of the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup. Young Austrian debuting at Spruce Meadows in this 30th anniversary season and really has had very limited success.
That's right, and we're seeing a rider who's underpaced at the moment. You know, he's pulling, he's not decisive about what to do, and he comes to a complete stop.
The Union Jack vertical, always difficult, has to be approached with much more enthusiasm and vigor than we've just seen. Let's see if he can sort that out now, very early in the course.
You know, this is a demanding course, and right away you have to step up to the plate and carry the same gallop pace that you would at the start of the course that you would at the finish of the course. And what we're seeing here is Johann is very indecisive, he's not aggressive, and he's not attacking the jumps.
He's now coming into the very technical line you spoke of off the top of the program that you envision causing problems. Onto the water now. Oh, problems at that skinny vertical and the end of the day for our Austrian entry coming out of the tack and with that elimination from the competition.
You know, we talked about with Johann that he's under the pace. The fact of the matter is when you're under the pace and you start to pull, you can't go anywhere. You can't slow down because you don't have anything to slow down with. And Johann was getting caught in that trap. You'll see right here, he's sitting up, he's pulling, and there's nothing for his horse to do but slide into the jump.
Here you get a good look from high above the jump, that lack of pace, lack of communication, and lack of success that ends the day by walking out of the international ring. Argentina gets the call. Guillermo Obligado aboard a horse that's very difficult to ride, but has a huge amount of natural talent. This is Carlson, and you talk about cowboying up for our entry from Argentina. Minor back surgery just 2 days ago.
Guillermo has been in so much trouble with his back. You know, he's just been in a lot of pain, and he saw a great sports medicine doctor earlier this week, and they fixed him up. Super ride through the triple combination.
For the uninitiated, this sport of international show jumping, very difficult on the back, the lower back. Many of the athletes have very, very religious regimes to look after their backs.
Guillermo masterfully through the one line that I indicated was one of the trouble spots on course, the triple combination to the water and then the skinny vertical. Now he comes across the ring, has to loop back prior to the final line on course. But his horse is jumping spectacular, riding very well. Another roll back.
Coming to the end of this 650-meter track. So far, all the rails intact. He's going to have to keep his pace going here to meet our time allowed of 98 seconds.
But this is not an area where you should rush. The double verticals, careful, careful, and he finishes with a clear round.
Flawless jumping, has a little rub on the back there. One time fault will be assessed from the officials here for going over the time allowed of 98 seconds, but Guillermo Obligado, obviously in pain, has to be satisfied with that performance.
Here's the last line, the double verticals with the Liverpools underneath. His horse jumps careful, and he rides aggressively to the timers, but not quite aggressive enough. He needed to save some time earlier on in the course.
The top 12 from round number 1 advancing to the second round of today's competition, and by virtue of a one-fault performance, Guillermo Obligado is in a good position. Richard Spooner now on course. Great athlete from Burbank, California, riding the Irish-bred gelding Hilton Flight.
Where the time allowed will catch these riders is in what we call the rollbacks. You'll see the wall here, and the riders have to loop back around to the triple combination. The riders can get lost very easily in those rollbacks, and that's where they'll waste precious time getting to the next obstacle. And Hilton Flight really in a lot of trouble through the triple combination, having to ride hard to the water.
Our 2002 champion of this event, Richard Spooner, having a difficult time aboard Hilton Flight.
You can see Hilton Flight really struggling. Whilst he's a very active galloper and things like that, he's just struggling over the jumps, and Richard has chosen to retire him for the day.
Knowing the struggle is getting too tough for the Big Bay gelding, Richard Spooner retires from the competition.
There's one of the obstacles going down on course in the triple combination, and really, really drifting over to this side, hitting the flag. Great camera work.
The day comes to an end for our 2002 champion, Richard Spooner. From one champion to another, Richard Fellers, who has $1 million in career earnings here at Spruce Meadows, including the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup victory of 1991, is on course now aboard McInnes.
Rich Fellers is really one of those types of riders that gets so strong when he's on a roll, and he rides all of his horses aggressively. Unlucky rail there. We saw one of the little bricks on the wall come off the top, so he's sitting on 4 faults. We're seeing an immense difference in the pace that Richard Fellers is carrying across the ground and getting to the jumps. He's not wasting any time. He keeps on galloping. He's rolling back to the obstacles. he will easily be under the time allowed.
Carrying just 4 faults right now as he takes a bit of a wide berth here aboard the 10-year-old Irish-bred gelding. Keep an eye on the clock. Many have been caught by the time allowed today of 98 seconds.
And what's important to note about the time allowed is that it'll be the fastest 4s that get back in the top 12. And he's got a very fast time, so it puts him in a good position to probably get back in the second round.
Rich Fellers of the United States, known for his speed, and he delivers a 4-fault performance.
Very unusual 4 faults. Watch that. His hind legs just didn't curl up and over the wall, and he kicks off one of the bricks.
From a great veteran to a man who's looking to live a dream today that he hopes will not turn into a nightmare, Darren Finkelman of the United States, debuting in the international ring at Spruce Meadows 1 year after suffering a heart attack here prior to having a chance to come into the international ring. Quite a story.
A little bit under the pace. Kimber really helping out here. Darren's got to pick it up a little bit. He's got to be a bit more aggressive. His horse is jumping fantastic so far, but he's under the pace. Time could catch up with him and some rails.
Rider from Middleburg, Virginia. An absolute nervous wreck this morning prior to the commencement of competition. Now he gets to try and live a game plan he's been marinating for over a year.
Darren's a little bit superstitious. He says he never wears anything new on Grand Prix day, and if he has something new, he throws it on the ground and steps on it, so it's been on the ground first before it goes on his body.
Is that a bit of a foreshadow? Let's hope he doesn't hit the ground today. So far, a very good round.
Spectacular round. Kimber and him are jumping great. The horse is just leaping in the air, but we're seeing a very slow round.
The very learned fans here at Spruce Meadows certainly going through their daily newspaper trying to find out just who Darren Finkelman is.
2 jumps to go. He's pushing the time allowed. Needs to gallop to the finish line.
Do you believe in miracles? A clear round, just 1 time fault. If I could quote the great Alan Michaels, we may have seen a miracle here with Darren Finkelman pushing a clear round in the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup.
A great ride for Darren Finkelman. Here we see him to the last 2 verticals on course. He knows he's clear. He's trying so hard to stay in the clear. He does end up with 1 time fault, but that should assure him a spot in the second round.
45-year-old Michael Whitaker will now look to move to the second round, and he's got a bit of a wild card in his hand today. A brand new horse, literally, having never ridden it before, just acquired at this year's North American tournament. This is the French bred of Michael Whitaker's HBC Omos de Mêlée, formerly ridden by our Austrian rider, Johann Frischheis.
And Michael's had to go to this horse, even though he's new in the string, because he's been plagued with injuries with his horses. Laconda's sitting on the sidelines, and that's a big hit for Michael Whitaker because he's been very competitive in the international ring, but he's going to something that's an unknown commodity at this point.
See how strong the bench strength is, having struggles there in the triple combination. Exactly as you forecast off the top of the show, that triple to the water, very difficult even for some of the sports greats.
And some people might think that Michael would retire now with a new horse, you know, a little bit over his head, having quite a few fences down already. But what I've seen is that Michael wants to understand the horse. What is the horse made of? He wants to get a read on him in the competitive ring.
This horse brings a rather limited international resume in the meter 45 division. Today stepping up to the meter 60, but under the tutelage of one of the sports greats. And Michael's going to take this opportunity to really get a sense of the newest member of his stable. Pulling that final rail over the double of Liverpool's. 23 faults in total for Great Britain's Michael Whitaker.
Like the top professional that Michael is, he's going to use this experience to go home and train this horse so that he'll be able to jump the triple combination clean, and of course he does have to school the water.
The most excited man at Spruce Meadows right now is Darren Finkelman of the United States.
First jump felt okay, and second one felt okay, and then third was okay, fourth we almost went off to the side, and he just answered when I asked him and jumped probably where he shouldn't have and cleared it, and he just tried all the way around. Super horse.
Super horse indeed. Kimber delivering just one time fault and possibly a second round appearance here at Spruce Meadows today. Another great horse in this entry is Ilian with Skylar Riley on course now. Regulars in victory circles around the world. Let's see if they can handle this 650-meter track.
This is a course for Ilian. You know, it's big, it's scopy. Skylar rides at a very fast pace, and she's comfortable with doing the rollbacks.
They have been together for so many years. They have that trust and chemistry. Skylar picking up the pace where she has the opportunity on course, recognizing how time is an important factor here in the first round.
You really see the difference in the galloping riders. You know, they have a very light hand. Rich Fellers, Skylar Riley, very loose, you know, relaxed, getting to the next jump. When we're seeing the riders with time faults, they jump a jump, they're pulling, they're really waiting every step of the way, and that's what's causing it.
Doesn't appear to be a problem on the clock here as she sets up for the double of Liverpools. A clear round onto the scorecard, no problems with the time, 92.71 for the great combination of Skylar Riley and Ilian.
Our first true clear round, no time faults, no jumping faults. A look at the double of verticals. She came in a little bit big, but the horse jumped so well. No fences down, no time faults, a great round. Assuring her a spot into the second round.
Skylar Riley thanking Ilian for getting her out of trouble there as our next entry comes into the stadium and delivers the salute to General Rick Hillier and Dick Wathall, the president of ATCO Power. There's a look at one of the great characters on the World Tour and a first-time competitor at Spruce Meadows in this 30th anniversary season, Geir Gulliksen of Norway. He's aboard Love Zed.
And Geir is coming into this event having jumped the last 4 competitions with the last fence down. So really we're seeing a rider who has a bit of the yips at the moment.
A little bit snake bitten. He's had a tremendous run of luck, save the last fence on each of those 4 courses, which has delivered bad luck to him. And now with the big chestnut, Geir Gulliksen is on course. Charging hard at the water, goes to the stick and clears it nicely.
Sitting on a clear round. Again, we're seeing another rider who's galloping to the next jump. Time should not be a factor for Geir.
Follow in the footsteps of Skylar Riley, who just posted a clear and quick performance aboard Ilian.
Love Zed is touching a few of the obstacles, so he really needs to, last line, he's got a bit of the yips. He needs to be controlled, settle down after the triple bar, and wait for the double of verticals. Coming in a little aggressive.
And that aggressiveness delivers 8 jumping faults, so the rotten luck of the last obstacle continues for Norway's Geir Gulliksen. Well, if you want to see scope, look no further than the next entry on course, the beautiful gray gelding Coeur, with Casey Harrison of the United States in her rookie Grand Prix season here at Spruce Meadows. Let's see if they can put in an effort similar to Skylar Riley with Ilion.
And this is a great combination. We're going to see them in the future many, many times in the winner's circle. Watch this horse and the way Casey rides it. She's very settled, composure for a young lady, and the horse responds.
21 years of age, has been recognized in the United States as one of the up-and-coming stars of the sport, recipient of the 2004 Maxine Baird Award, which identifies young talent capable of representing the United States internationally.
Coeur just powered out over the two double of Oxers in the triple combination, and Casey didn't quite sit up enough. You could hear her say, whoa, but that vertical caught her. She's sitting on 4 faults here.
Ooh, the Canada planks, as they have done so often in their history here at Spruce Meadows, come down easily.
What we're seeing is a round that is by inches. This is a very solid round. Casey's riding great, the horse is jumping great. Just a smidgen too deep or too long into a jump, and it's costing her today.
Case in point, coming into the double of verticals at the Liverpools for a 12th fault on course. Time not a problem at 90.81 seconds, but by virtue of the 12 faults, Casey Harrison will not advance to our round of 12 here in the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup, a tradition started in 1990 and surely one of this venue's most cherished Rolex moments in time. On a spectacular day 15 years ago, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II paid a royal visit to Spruce Meadows to title and christen the inaugural Queen Elizabeth II Cup, and to spend time with the athletes and the horses residing at Spruce Meadows. That time included a tour of the Spruce Meadows stable. It was a magical day, providing the thousands on hand with memorable moments in time. Great Britain's Mark Armstrong, next to take on the challenge of the international ring aboard Thesara. We have yet to see a British victor in this competition through its history, but a lot of British horsepower still to come today. Mark Armstrong, the first of that aboard Thesara. This is a great horse sired by the great stallion Darko.
Good ride so far, aggressive, attacking the course. We're seeing a lot of pace here with Mark. I like the way he's riding.
And she's a mare with a lot of blood, and I know in your competitive days, Linda, that was the type of horse you really liked as well.
Got to go to the water, left a little bit long. Is he on the tape?
The judges are inspecting the tape, and indeed 4 faults have gone up on the scoreboard here at Spruce Meadows. Otherwise flawless jumping thus far.
And it's so disappointing if you end up with just the water jump as your 4 faults, because you really feel like you haven't made a mistake.
See in the background there, the officials cutting out the lathe or the plasticine strip that lines the water jump as evidence of the impression. As Mark Armstrong charges on boldly now to the triple bar. And across the finish line with all the rails up, and I'm sure there'll be a certain degree of disbelief for Mark Armstrong as he looks to the scoreboard, not realizing he had a foot on the tape.
Let's watch this again. You see him, he slows down and then he rides hard, but he doesn't quite leave himself enough room
Right there, his fetlock touches the tape, and that is 4 faults.
Heartbreak at the water jump, but clearly the fetlock came down on the plasticine, and that may deal Mark Armstrong out of the equation. One of the pre-event favorites now on course, Beezy Madden of the United States. So often so close to victory in this competition. She has yet to win it, perhaps this year with the beautiful gelding Authentic. Authentic, her teammate from the Athens Games, where she was part of that medal performance effort by the United States.
Beezy having been a bridesmaid in this competition before, looking to be the winner. Authentic is not a great water jumper. She's got to ride hard to make sure he jumps across it, and he makes it.
Onto the brakes, getting him packaged up for that skinny vertical, and thus far a clear round for Beezy Madden. Authentic should be very fresh. He's been managed very carefully in 2005 for this day specifically.
Beezy and Authentic, winners of the American Invitational in Florida earlier this year. A clear round will put them into the second round and that much closer. Time allowed will not be a factor for Beezy. We're sitting at 84 seconds at the last line, but she does have to settle him down for the double verticals.
Much to the delight of the 32,000 on hand today at Spruce Meadows, one of the fan favorites, Beezy Madden, posts a clear round and a fast clear, advancing on a guaranteed basis to round number 2.
Triple combination. Watch Authentic jumping so beautifully, very scopy, careful at the vertical, and then she has to go hard to the water.
She got over the water, Mark Armstrong did not, and he's frustrated about that.
I think what happened was the horse's foot cleared the tape, but as the horse landed, the fetlock joint goes down, and I think that marked the plasticine. So anyway, it's a decision's made. So I was in it. So I was disappointed because normally you know if you're in the water or not. And I didn't think I was. So having the rest of it clear, I thought I'd got a clear round, but there you go.
Tough way to end the day for Mark Armstrong, as our defending champion gets ready to try and post a clear round. Bernardo Alves of Brazil, who has been nothing short of spectacular at Spruce Meadows in 2005, and he is aboard a horse that is the total package in Canturo.
Winner of last year's Queen Elizabeth II Cup, looking for a repeat.
And if he scores the repeat, Bernardo Alves will score an additional $50,000 in bonus money in the $1 million CN Precision Series. He, of course, is in play along with American Norman Della Gioia by virtue of their victories earlier this year. A little dodgy there by the stallion coming into the wall.
Bernardo experienced enough to be able to cope with the dodginess. Look at this horse jump. Power, power, power. I'm sensing a little bit slow. He has not galloped to the jumps. He needs to be a bit more aggressive. Could be pushing the time allowed.
Canturo, very energetic.
See Bernardo really trying to gallop here. This is not the place where you want to be making up for being slow early on, because it's a very careful last line. The triple bar to the double of verticals. He needs to jump the triple bar and then settle down.
Time will be tight. He's through the pair of verticals and just under the time allowed. That's shaving it close, Linda, 97.81. He's into the second round. Not much time to spare there for Bernardo Alves.
Here's your double of verticals at the end. Very careful and just under the time allowed. He knew he was tight on it because he looked back to see the time.
Looking to defend his title at Spruce Meadows, Bernardo Alves of Brazil. We'll be back with more action from Spruce Meadows right after this. A year ago, it was Alves and Lauren Huff of the United States in a showdown in the jump-off in this event. And by virtue of Bernardo Alves' victory, Lauren Huff was denied a $450,000 bonus in the CN Precision Series. She returns with Classico, her Olympic mount of 2,000, and the horse that carried her to 2 Grand Prix victories at Spruce Meadows a year ago, Lauren Huff of the United States.
A great combination, Lauren and Classico. Really so well prepared and very confident in their ride. You'll see each of them understanding what the other one wants. Power through the triple. She's having to ride to make sure he jumps across the back rail. Into the water jump.
Heartbreak for the 14-year-old gelding with Lauren Huff in a span of 50 meters, 8 faults here at Spruce Meadows. Rub there on the planks, but the gelding has been jumping relatively well. Just got caught from the water to that skinny vertical, and as quickly as that, there will be no second round for our entry from Wellington, Florida.
She appears to be really pushing the time allowed. Very similar ride as Bernardo, right on the edge. We're at 93 seconds, 94.
Very similar, actually only 3/100ths to spare to come in under the time allowed. It's an academic point, however, with 8 jumping faults. No chance of returning today for round number 2 for Lauren Huff.
Not giving herself enough room to really ride hard at the water. A foot goes right in, splash. You see it, no questions there.
Someone who rarely has problems with the time allowed is Laura Kraut of the United States. A teammate of Lauren Huff's from the 2000 Sydney Olympics, and she is aboard Miss Independent. This combination currently leading the way in the Spruce Meadows North American Championship. And will look to join the ranks of the clear rounds.
The British vertical causing problems, having it down, but we've seen a lot of horses jump it suspiciously. They haven't attacked it, they've been very cautious about it, and what I'm sensing is that it's such a bold, strong jump. The riders really need to ride it a bit more aggressively.
Laura will now really go to the throttle as she wants to keep it on 4 and see if a fast 4 will merit any opportunity to be in the top 12 here today.
What's in the back of Laura's mind is time now. She has 4 faults, but if she has a fast time, she can put herself in a position to get back into the second round because they will take the fastest 4s if the 4s make it.
This big mare covering the ground in the international ring, now through the double of Liverpool, so just the 1 rail down for Miss Independent. Coming early on the course, no problems with the time, 91.09 seconds.
A very, very fast round. She's put herself in a good position even though she does have the 4 faults. Triple combination, you can see her really riding hard here. And again, we're seeing the horses drift towards the camera, almost taking out the camera.
So the 1998 champion of this event now begins the waiting game to see if she will advance to the second round at today's ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup. And when you talk about power and scope, there may be no horse in the world with more of it than our next entry, Sapphire with McLean Ward of the United States. big, powerful mare, part of the medal-winning team effort for the United States at the Athens Games. Let's see if she's got a clear round in her today.
Following the silver medal performance in the 2004 Athens Olympics with this horse, we finished off the year with 3 World Cup wins in Washington, D.C., Lexington, Kentucky, and Wellington, Florida.
No problems with the Union Jack. Really has been way over each and every obstacle thus far on course.
Sapphire is a lovely horse, and just the way she gallops, you'll see her very relaxed in her gallop, beautiful balance, and so McLean can just sit tall and really collect that power and have the horse explode over the jumps. Galloping to the next obstacle on course becomes very easy with a type of horse like this because she just really stays in a beautiful balance. That's what I love about this particular horse. Look at that, just so easy.
Some noticeable differences in the gene pool. We saw Mark Armstrong aboard Thesara, another mare out of Darko. Sapphire is a Darko offspring, but much bigger, much scopier horse.
Needs to steady up for the last 2 verticals. A flawless round, just beautiful.
Good pace, 95.89, not the fastest of the cleans, but a guaranteed spot in round number 2 for McLean Ward of the United States with Sapphire.
Here again, we see the double of verticals. This horse did not touch a jump on course, was flawless. The ride was flawless, just a great round.
One of the pre-event favorites unquestionably would be Nick Skelton of Great Britain aboard the spectacular stallion ATCO, now on course.
This is such a neat horse. Not only is it a top jumper, but watch this horse's expression. Look at his face and his ears and his eyes. He is such a keener. He looks like a really happy horse.
Right now enjoying a clear round in the International Stadium at Spruce Meadows as Nick Skelton and ATCO head into the triple.
Beautiful. ATCO really is the horse that brought Nick out of retirement, and why not? I mean, it is a special horse. They have a great rapport. Another horse that is not coming near to touching an obstacle. Way up and over that.
Sailing around the international ring, time not looking to be a problem for Nick Skelton as he sets up to jump the Stonehenge Oxer and then off to the triple bar to finish up here.
Time should not be a factor for Nick. He's so good and so proficient at those rollbacks. He gets right to the next jump, and look at this time, no problem at all.
So a British victory could be in the cards today at Spruce Meadows in the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup as Nick Skelton advances to round number 2. Ian Miller will like to see the Maple Leaf part of the equation in round 2. He's aboard his new international star In Style. Ian Miller, the all-time career leader in victories at Spruce Meadows and in lifetime earnings here with over $2 million to his credit. One of the things that has eluded him, however, is victory today in this event, the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup. Really into the heart of the field here, Linda. When you look at the horses and the riders, this is like being at any major championship in the sport. It will be a hard-fought victory for whoever reigns supreme today.
This is a great horse, very typical of the style for Ian. You know, a big, rangy galloping horse. The one thing that InStyle does have is he likes to carry his head quite high, similar to Big Ben.
10 years of age, just coming into his prime years, and Ian Miller has very high hopes for this horse.
We are seeing the cream rise here. You know, we've had Nick Skelton, we've had Ian Miller, McLean Ward, all of them just really on their game today, jumping this round. They're eating up this competition.
And the Maple Leaf will advance to the second round as Canada's Ian Miller posts a clear aboard InStyle to join the ranks of Nick Skelton, McLean Ward, and Beezy Madden.
And a happy Mr. Miller, or shall we say Dr. Miller. Beautiful jump at the Canada plank, vertical. InStyle saying, no, I am not knocking that down.
And a happy Dr. Miller. Doctor, of course, alluding to the honorary doctorate recently bestowed on Captain Canada, the 9-time Olympian from the University of Guelph, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. As we continue into the depth of the field here, how about the Olympic champion, Rodrigo Pessoa of Brazil, aboard the incredible 16-year-old Balubé Durouet. Clearly one of the best combinations ever in international show jumping.
Another really happy horse. This horse loves his job, and he loves Rodrigo. They are such a great combination. What I'm seeing here and sensing is that the top athletes of the sport that are competing today are eating up this course, and they are saying to our course designer from Brazil, bring it on, we are ready today.
There is a Brazilian storyline of sorts unfolding in the International Stadium here. Bernardo Alves, Rodrigo Pessoa, and of course our course designer, Guilherme Jorge, all part of the equation today. Balubé is just toying with this right now, it seems.
He is a fresh horse, and Rodrigo's having to manage that because the horse looks very excited to be out playing with the big boys.
And they're in the game to the second round. Rodrigo Pessoa, the Olympic champion, advances as expected with a very quick pace.
Rodrigo having to settle Balubé down for the last combination. A slight rub on the very last obstacle, but no problems for Rodrigo nor Balubé.
Time to load up for round number 2 as our last entry of this power-filled first round of competition enters the stadium. Norman Della Gioia of the United States aboard the great gelding Glasgow. Glasgow and Norman have had a storied career, although Glasgow had almost a year off after being injured in the 2004 American Olympic team trials. He's come back and looks to be at the top of his game. And Norman Della Gioia is in play for a possible $50,000 bonus today in the CN Precision Series. To do so, he must score a clear round here in round number 1.
Norman rider for Team Milton and the Norman Riders Cup presented by CN on number 148 Glasgow. Norman, one of the 2 riders tonight for the long start and CN Precision Series.
Great ride to the triple combination. Oh, and a hard rub there, but it does stay up over the water jump. Norman, another fast rider around a course. Time should not be a factor, but Glasgow looks a little ragged, a little bit feisty, and Norman needs to make sure that the horse settles down because there's quite a few careful jumps still to come.
Oh, and that is one of them. The Canada planks on the flat cups comes down. And as you said, maybe a little unorganized, and it cost them 4 faults.
Last line, he wants to keep it at 4 faults so he can hopefully get back into the second round.
Time not a problem, but the Canada planks on the international ring are for 4 faults for Norman De La Gioia. So the waiting game begins as the judges assess the top 12 scores.
Here's the trouble area for Norman De La Gioia and Glasgow, but our scorecard says that Norman should advance.
There's a look at the 4 faulters that have advanced, all from the United States, into round number 2. The rest of our field made up of 1 and clear rounds from the first round of competition. There's a new course ahead though, Linda.
10 more obstacles and immense in size, 450 meters in length. So fatigue is going to be a factor. And we talk about fatigue. It's going to start out right away with Norman De La Gioia. He just finished the first round, has a very short break, and has to come right back with Glasgow into the second round.
Leading things off as the slowest of the 4 faults from round number 1, Norman De La Gioia aboard Glasgow have breathed to live another round at Spruce Meadows, so still in play for a possible $50,000 bonus. Things can change in round number 2 as you combine the 2 round scores. Carrying 4 faults from round number 1.
Oh, jump that spectacular. Really arcing over. Norman almost getting tipped out in the front end of the horse and riding this line aggressively because they're 2 big wide oxers.
The always difficult bicycle jump coming into the second round, but it's in a position on course. I noticed the riders talking about it between the Devil's Dyke and the wall, and they think it's a little bit more inviting that way.
A new triple combination, vertical, oxer, vertical. And this is where I think we'll see some horses really tire out. The last turn away from the in-gate to the last oxer, and it is immense in size.
And time is tight because Norman De La Gioia did not appear to be really dilly-dallying on course. He posts a clear round, so there's his 2-round total of 4 faults. The waiting game begins for the American veteran.
Here's the triple combination. We don't see it so well because of the flag, but there you go over the last vertical. Norman now is, as you said, a waiting game, but if there are other horses that have 4 faults, he'll start to step up the ladder.
Rich Fellers has been on the ladder at Spruce Meadows for a long time, 4th all-time in career monies won here, and he's looking to add to that today. The great veteran from Wilsonville, Oregon, aboard the Irish-bred gelding McGuinness.
Rich coming into the second round, being the only horse-rider combination to knock down Mount Rushmore. Thank goodness Mount Rushmore is not in today, or into this round. The double oxer that's immense here.
Now bending around the Devil's Dyke to take on the Dutch bicycle.
Pretty slow here, adding a lot of strides to the triple bar. And Rich really galloping around the corner to the last oxer.
And like Norman De La Gioia before him, 4 faults, but look at the time. 1 time fault for Rich Fellers, so that will bring his 2-round total to 5. Here in the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup, currently in 2nd position.
And that could be extremely costly for Rich Fellers. Here you see him galloping to the last obstacle on course, but he catches the time just by a smidgen.
Laura Kraut will be our final of the 4 fault performers from the first round aboard Miss Independent. The American veteran will look to duplicate the effort put forward by Norman De La Joyo, finish up the day on 4 faults. Ooh, that was a big effort by that mare.
Guy Norhe, the Brazilian course designer, has not set a lot of traps in the second round. It's a very straightforward course. The riders just need to gallop to the jumps and get them jumped.
They are, however, very large jumps, standing 1.60 m in height, and then there's the big triple bar, which Miss Independent has down for 4 faults to bring her 2-round total to 8. And that is how they'll finish up. 8 faults over 2 rounds for American Laura Kraut. Argentina's Guillermo Obligado next to go. Guillermo riding Carlson, a very difficult gelding to ride, but a gelding that's just loaded with jump. Let's see if Guillermo's back problems are under control. He has an early rail here.
On course now from Argentina's Guillermo Obligado.
Little difficulty squaring that horse up for that obstacle, sitting on 4 faults right now. Make it 8 plus that time fault from round number 1.
Needs to settle him down for the triple combination. Oh, you can see Carlson really twisting over that first vertical.
They too are going to be hard pressed to get in under the time allowed as they cover the Athens Oxer, but incur a second time fault on the day, so that'll bring their 2-round total to 10 for Argentina's Guillermo Obligado. More from Spruce Meadows when we return. Darren Finkelman, the surprise story from round number 1, coming forward for the United States with 1 time fault, now on course with the big chestnut gelding Kimber.
Darren was so excited with his round in the first round, and he should have been. He rode great, and the horse was spectacular.
Oof.
Darren didn't quite get to the second oxer. You could see Kimber take a double take over the jump, and the fence comes down.
Great head-on shot approaching that oxer in the combination. Not to be negotiated successfully by Kimber, but no problems with the bicycle jump. And that's a first time over that obstacle for Darren Finkelman.
We're seeing under pace again. Darren got caught by the clock in the first round. He's testing the limits in the second round as well.
He will certainly incur time faults. 1 fault assessed for every 4 seconds over the allowed time. And today, for Darren Finkelman, he has another 2 to tack on to his first round time fault. He finishes up the day with 7 faults, just the 1 rail right here.
Here, watch. The horse does a double take right there. The back rail comes down. And you know what's so important about those back rails is that we have what we call breakaway cups on the back rail. So 80 pounds of pressure and the jump will fall down. And that's for the safety of the horses and riders, so the horses can never get caught up on an oxer.
Been a great innovation into the sport over the last decade, as the defending champion of the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup is now on course. Brazil's Bernardo Alves aboard the Stallion Cantoro.
And this horse is a big jumper. Look at him fly over those oxers.
Pace doesn't seem to be a problem here, Linda. We've seen the clock catch a number of our entries in round number 2, but Bernardo seems to be on a good pace here. Oh, not jumping high enough, however. 4 faults.
And it could be a costly 4 faults because Bernardo's first round time was 97 seconds. So, in fact, Norman Delajoyo is ahead of Bernardo in the standings.
4 faults over 2 rounds for the defending champion.
Here you see Bernardo really leaning back, pulling on Canturo, trying to get him to settle down for the triple combination, but unfortunately, 4 faults is assessed with the vertical going down, and at this point, Bernardo Alves and Norman Delajoyo are tied for first place with 4 faults.
Dick Walthall and General Hillier received the Cavaliers salute from Ian Miller, who is one of our clear round riders from the first round of competition. If he posts a second clear, he will take the lead in the competition. As you alluded to, Linda, currently 4 faults leads the way, with plenty of talent still to come in round number 2. Ian Miller's on course.
In style, a spectacular young horse for Ian Miller. Touching a few of the obstacles, but none of them have come down, so that's fine. What Ian needs to do is really just, you know, maybe just compress in style a little bit, say, hey buddy, come on, we need to jump good today.
Certainly a clear round will get the 32,000 plus to their feet here at Spruce Meadows. Ian Miller, a fan favorite over the decades here, and well deserved. Four jumps left.
Ian Miller could take the lead, 1 jump to go. And you can hear it, heartbreak. Canada's hopes of getting into the jump off or forcing a jump off, taking the clear lead, is crushed with the last obstacle on course.
Ian Miller joins a group of 3. Heartbreak for the legend.
Last line in style, Ian Miller. Watch this, setting up, vertical. In style, slightly twists over the oxer, vertical. Ian lets go, gallops around, watch him. He sits down, really asks in style to stretch across the oxer, and he doesn't quite make it.
And there's a look at Lynn Miller in disbelief down in the clock tower area. So many victories here at Spruce Meadows. Perhaps it was denied there over the final oxer. McLean Ward looking to post a double clear round and take the lead at Spruce Meadows aboard Sapphire. You cannot let up at any place on this course. Although it's not technical, it is huge, and as we saw with Ian Miller covering that last oxer when he thought he was home with a clear round, was not the case. Wouldn't it be something, Linda, if the 4 faulters come back to jump off for supremacy today? That currently leads the way. A double clear will take the unchallenged lead.
McLean Ward and Sapphire look very in control, jumping great. 1 jump to go. Will the 10th obstacle on course catch up with them?
Better get to the gas soon here. Will he get under the time allowed? Just under, so there is your leader at Spruce Meadows right now. McLean Ward and Sapphire, a perfect scorecard.
Right here, good ride, great scope of Sapphire, and a gallop to the finish line.
just under the time allowed. Didn't leave much on the table to spare there. As McLean Ward will now go and see if he has to prepare the beautiful chestnut mare for a jump off. And will it be against the stallion? ATCO, ridden by Nick Skelton, in with a clear card, looking to go to a jump off.
Nick has been knocking on the door, and he is hungry today. He wants to win this competition.
$200,000 up for grabs at Spruce Meadows today. And when the money's big, Nick Skelton always shows up to play.
Great ride, great horse.
Time is not a problem, nor is the final oxer. We have a jump off at Spruce Meadows as Nick Skelton of Great Britain will go head-to-head against McLean Ward of the United States.
The bicycle jump, Nick setting up, and watch ATCO. He jumps it about 2 feet above, up in the flowers.
Currently, there's a 2-horse jump-off slated for the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup. Looking to make it 3 will be Beezy Madden of the United States aboard Authentic. They had a terrific first round, very quick, and that's why they're later in the order of go here in round number 2. They are on course now. The Olympic medalists from the United States, Beezy Madden and Authentic.
You know, I find it so interesting that the top horses all jump in a very different style. Whilst they have scope and they're careful, if you see Authentic, you know, he doesn't tuck his front legs up very high. From the knee to the shoulder, it's hung down a little bit, whereas ATCO is very correct. And then, of course, there's Sapphire, who just is such a powerhouse.
Authentic reminds me of a doe or a deer style of jumping, quite flat in the back, but this gelding gets the job done, and there is no room for pictures on the scorecard, and right now their scorecard is clear as they set up for the final fence, a fence they're well familiar with from the Athens Olympics. And the United States puts a second entry into the jump off. Authentic and Beezy Madden, 1 step closer to victory.
Beezy and Authentic, tight turn to the vertical after the double oxer line. Authentic, really lazy with that one front leg, and Beezy and Authentic, very lucky indeed, but post a clear round.
Looking to duplicate the clear round will be Skylar Riley, next to go aboard Ilian. She posted the first clear of the competition today and will now come in aboard her veteran bay gelding.
And now this is a hard position. Ilian and Skylar jumped quite early on today, and they've had to come back. We can see a little bit cold, and it's cost her right away.
Tough to get them warmed up again. We spoke about fatigue, but also if you've had the long rest, it's hard to get motivated again. And Skylar Riley and Ilian pull an early rail. They will not be into the jump off here. So after having the second fastest of the clear rounds, or essentially being in second place leading into round number 2, they have fallen in their stock and pull another rail.
Disappointing round for Skylar and Ilian. 3 jumps down already on course. They've got the massive oxer left.
So barring disaster from our final entry, Rodrigo Pessoa, Skylar Riley takes a tremendous fall in the standings and likely will finish up in 12th position here today.
Right here is our first jump down. A lazy front end catching up with Skylar Riley and Ilian, and a disappointing finish.
So Great Britain and the United States are currently in the jump off here at Spruce Meadows, and looking to take the Brazilian colors in will be the Olympic champion Rodrigo Pessoa with Balubé Durowe, last to go in the second round of competition.
Balubé still looking very fresh. Fatigue has not set in yet.
This tandem very used to the pressure of international championships and very used to the pressure of going last.
You could hear Rodrigo say, Balubé was touching quite a few of those obstacles, and he was not happy about that.
Not wanting to come in too boldly, Balubé comes in and gets out of the triple combination faultlessly. And moves to the jump off for Brazil. We have got an extraordinary jump off ahead here, Linda. Rodrigo Pessoa joins the ranks of the double cleans.
Rodrigo Pessoa and Balubé do not look fatigued. We have 4 horses and riders advancing to the jump off.
Here's a look at those that have posted double clear rounds in the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup. McLean Ward will be the first over this 6 obstacle jump off against the clock. In the event of equality of faults, time will be used to determine the final placings, and that means it's tough to be the leadoff rider.
It will be a fast jump off, starting with jump number 2, coming across to 3B, roll back over the dry ditch. McLean galloping on, and then a tight right-hand turn over a vertical, a new obstacle on course, the ATCO Power Vertical. They have to gallop all the way down to the end of the ring.
This is where they can make up valuable time.
And a roll back to the Athens Oxer, and that should be the end.
The big mare covers it nicely and finishes up in 38.99. The United States leads the way, McLean Ward, and that becomes the time to beat on a triple clear day at Spruce Meadows. And now British great Nick Skelton aboard ARCO will look to match the triple clean and do it faster than 38.99 seconds in the jump off here. We're off to the races.
Nick is a master of the rollbacks, not so fast in the long gallops. So where he has to increase his time or shorten the time is right here. Jump the Oxer and just beetle back to the ATCO Power Vertical.
Nicely done. To the throttle he goes. He's over the final fence and he's across the finish line with a great margin over McLean Ward of 1.1 seconds. There is your leader with 2 left to go at Spruce Meadows, Great Britain's Nick Skelton.
Right here, look at this ride to the Oxer, pressing ARCO all the way to the finish line.
Nick Skelton and ARCO looking to add the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup to their Spruce Meadows resume. And looking to deny them that will be Beezy Madden of the United States, oh so close on many occasions. Big speed early.
Hard ride to the vertical. Tight turn.
Not wasting any time setting up for the combination here.
Can she do it? Can she beat Nick?
Indeed she can. She's clean and fast. Whoa. more than a second faster than Nick Skelton. And it just keeps getting faster and faster. Will this be the year for BZ Madden? 36:15 becomes the time to beat on a perfect scorecard.
Here you see her just pedal to the metal, all the way down to the combination, settling Authentic down, and then a big gallop to the last obstacle.
1.7 seconds faster. Will it be enough as Rodrigo Pessoa, considered by many the greatest jump-off rider of all time, with this horse, Balubé du Rouet, clean and fast, the time to beat 36:15, but they cannot afford a rail.
Very tight turns.
Oh.
Big gallop going into the combination.
And it's down. 4 faults. The game is over. He may have the time, but it's academic now. He did have the time. Rodrigo Pessoa. There's a look at the victor.
4 riders in the jump off, each coming in and going faster and faster, but it comes down to BZ Madden and Authentic, winning the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup, and they're standing by with Ian Allison.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, an incredible rider with an incredible horse means an incredible victory. BZ Madden of the United States lays claim to the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup. Your legend at Spruce Meadows continues. This is the kind of afternoon you like, BZ.
Yeah, and let me add, incredible sponsor, incredible venue, and incredible fans here.
A lady of few words, but she always has the right ones. Is this amongst the most special victories of your career?
Definitely is, yeah.
Well, Authentic was right for it today on a triple clear round, and your afternoon's about to get a whole lot better. Dick Walthall, the president of ATCO Power, with a presentation to make.
Right. Thank you. An incredible day of sport, one of the most amazing I've seen.
I think she gets a dividend for it, Dick.
I think she does.
$66,000, ladies and gentlemen, for our Olympic silver medalist from the United States. As she raises that and adds to her $1 million+ in career earnings, I'm going to take it back in trust, BZ, and invite you and Dick Walthall to step forward and hoist the Queen Elizabeth II Cup, one of the great traditions in international show jumping here at Spruce Meadows. BZ Madden of the United States.
What a glorious day. Sunshine, spectacular conditions with top jumping in all 3 rounds of the ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup. With 4 Olympic athletes advancing to the jump-off, each pushing the other to go faster and faster. Last to compete was Rodrigo Pessoa, knocking 1 fence down, providing BZ Madden with the opportunity to win the 2005 ATCO Power Queen Elizabeth II Cup. Now, on behalf of Ian Allison, I'm Linda Heffcott. Until next time, thanks for joining us from Spruce Meadows.
We've all got some miles to make up. Miles to the job site, the campsite, and anything else we set our sights on. So let's roll up our sleeves, because we've got miles to make up. Now you can buy from home with the help of Ram Click and Drive. And during Ram Summer Clearance, you pay what we pay with Employee Pricing Plus and 0% financing for 84 months.
Paying attention to the smallest detail. Getting to the destination the most efficient way possible. Ensuring all individual elements are working together to drive high performance. And making sure you do it consistently. Being the best comes down to perfect execution. That's not just good show jumping. That's good railroading. We love a sport that rewards precision.